Hey there, YouTube's Progress Garage guys and girls. I think I owe you a video regarding this homemade meal. I've been getting a lot of requests to make a video about this. So in a few minutes I'll try to explain how I made this meal. I apologize for my English because I'm from Europe. I don't speak English anyhow. So okay, basically I made this thing from scrap. I had these two, pillow block bearings, and I had these two pillow block bearings, actually these three pillow block bearings, and that was all I got. I went to the local flea market and got this motor. It's a single phase 500 watt electric motor. I believe it was on a power hoist for lifting, it has a cable to lift heavy things on the first and second floor, whatever. And I had a piece of solid tubing. It's not a tubing, it's solid rod. I cut a piece and I drilled a hole on a lathe. It's a through hole, it goes all the way down, you see. You have to be careful with this, you have to be really precise. And I drilled, I made a outside diameter on the lathe here to fit these two bearings. And then I had to go online and I bought a Morris taper to reamer. And I had to be very, very precise to make Morris taper to hole that goes completely straight and doesn't wobble. Normally when you do it on a lathe, you take care that it doesn't wobble, and if you pay attention it will be fine. Okay, so I went to the local ironworks shop and I gave the guys a couple of bucks for the beer money, and they gave me this I-beam, and on that I-beam I actually put this piping, tubing, whatever you want to call it, and made a sliding post for the quill to go up and down. And you do it by turning this lever. On the other side there is a threaded rod with 1, 2, 3 and 4 nuts on it, because it spreads the load evenly on 4 nuts. And since it is almost impossible to find Acme thread, it's this is the next best thing. This is M16 threaded rod. So if you go with only one nut, the possibility of galling and damaging the thread will be very likely. This way you distribute load on 4 nuts and you eliminate backplay this way, the backlash or the slack, and it all works fine. So the quill goes up and down. I don't know if you can see because my hands are shaking a bit, sorry for that. And on this side I made a shaft. I bought these two step pulleys, so I actually have 4 gears, very low one and very high one, and I attached this motor via a spring, so it's preloaded, so I can change the gear ratios on the fly. Next, there is a huge, well, not huge, but massive tubing here and on the other side, and I made an L angle iron sliding on it, and on the bottom I made a bracket that prevents this angle iron from lifting up. So you need to fiddle to go within the tolerance, so you have just enough, play, so this thing can go back and forth. Sorry for the shaking, guys. You see it goes back and forth. Again, a couple of nuts below, because if you depend only on one nut, then you might damage the nut. Too much stress on it. And then on these angle irons, another pieces of tubing here and here for the y-axis or x-axis, whatever you want to call this. And then again I use just regular piping to make this go in and out. It slides easy. The only challenge is when you weld things, you have to be careful so you don't pull the welds. When they cool, they pull things and they tend to warp the pipes. So you have to be careful to be perfectly straight here. You see, everything has to be perfectly straight. Otherwise, you have a lot of wobble. This way, I eliminate all the wobble. And I don't know if you can see, on the bottom side, I told you I put this angle iron to prevent the carriage from lifting. And here, I couldn't do that because I had these two in a way. So I welded two pieces of round rod, and I had two plates on the bottom with screws. Here, I don't know if you can see down here below, and at the end, preventing this whole table from being lifted up, you know, when you climb mill. So that's basically it. It works pretty good, and all I need to do is paint it, and that's it. I welded a couple of bolts here. This is just a plastic piping and locking nut, so I can easily turn this, and it works out like a dream. I will show you a few test pieces I made.